Welcome to my new series where I'm going to be documenting my journey from becoming a point and shoot smartphone TikTok creator to a crispy B-roll, buttery smooth, nice studio fucking YouTuber with the Sony ZV-E10, because this thing has got the potential to get a lot more out of content and image quality and video quality and videography and sound design and stuff like that than what a normal point and shoot camera will do. So if you fancy following me on this journey, then by all means subscribe. But make sure that you like bushcraft as well, because as soon as I finish a series messing about with all the settings on this and optimizing the shit out of it to get absolutely crisp, pristine footage, I'm going to be going back to bushcraft, outdoor survival, and the mushrooms are coming. So if you've already watched my last video, it should be somewhere around here or linked in the description, where I go through actually what point do you actually decide to upgrade from a smartphone to a proper mirrorless camera. You don't do it really at the beginning. If you've got the cash flying around, then fine, by all means. The ZV-E10 Mark II, £1,000, brilliant choice. I'm absolutely loving it. But in this one, I've got myself this Rode Wireless Go 2 audio. We're actually going to be dialing in the audio between the Sony ZV-E10 and the Rode, because there's actually two different recording settings kind of thing that you need to be messing about with, which is the internal recording audio of the camera and then actually what the Rode Wireless Go 2 sensitivity is set at. Now, I've taken liberties of doing many tests, and I've recorded this video once before and it was too long, so I'm re-recording it again, but I've got some of the settings already dialed in and set in mind. So the camera volume, internal recording volume, is set at 5, which is currently what you can hear now, and I believe this thing is set at about -6 decibels. Now, we're just going to do a few tests, basically just to see if I can get the audio any crispier or any better than this, because this is seeming like a sweet spot. But in the next clip I'm going to show you basically how you adjust the two settings. So this should work with any kind of Sony camera or any camera really in general, like this, right? But basically you go into menu and then you go across to record settings, and then you go down to audio recording, and now as you can see mine is set at 5. So what you've got to do basically is find the sweet spot between the camera's internal recording audio, which everything that I've seen on YouTube and a little bit of research online, you want to try to keep this as low as possible, because the camera's internal recording audio basically makes noise and bullshit stuff like this. So I'm going to leave this at 5 and we're going to adjust from here. It's going to basically be 5 downwards, but then also on the Rode, and you can see because of the backlight thing, but as you can see there, that little -9 dB, this is how sensitive the Rode is. So that's making it less sensitive, and then that's making it more sensitive. So I had mine set to around there, and basically we're going to dial the settings in to get the crispiest audio between this and this. So we're just going to go on a little walk, and basically I'm just going to be talking shit about plants and trees and stuff like that, but I'm going to be messing about with the audio at the same time. So yeah, let me know what you think to the audio on this, because this is kind of like the standard preset kind of setting that I've settled on, which is where the camera's set at 5 and the Rode Wireless Go 2 is set at -12 decibels. So now we have got the camera volume set at 3 and the Rode Wireless Go 2 volume set at 6. And what you're looking at here is some hogweed seeds. Now these seeds are very interesting, because when the plant actually seeds, the seeds apparently smell like cardamom. Now I don't actually know what cardamom smells like, but these seeds apparently do smell like cardamom, and doesn't smell very good really, to be fair with you, but I mean, I'm not getting a strong smell from that one. Let's try these nice crispy dry ones. Not bad. But yeah, if you like cardamom, then hogweed seeds are for you. Right, so I just listened to that back and it sounded better because the background ambience and the wind, it's quite windy here, you see, wasn't too bad. So it's looking like I go down in the camera volume, like the booba tubers said, because they're always right on YouTube. Who pays for university anymore? I mean, come on now, people. And basically I'm going to go slightly up on the Rode Wireless Go 2 and just see, because sometimes I want some ambience, like the birds tweeting and the sound of the wind and streams and nature and things like that, but you've got to be able to focus on the voice as well and not have too much distraction. Now this is the camera set at 1 and the Rode Wireless Go 2 set at -6 again. So I'm just going to see by going down in the camera volume if it makes any difference to the clarity of my voice and the sound of the ambience. Now, this plant you're looking at here is a very interesting plant because this seed pod here has got a very good mechanism for seed dispersal, which is like that, you see. This is pink Himalayan balsam. It's invasive species, I'll say invasive species of plant, and yeah, you can basically just pull them up quite easy. They come out of the ground very, very easy, but they're not very good for the environment. But the thing is about them little seed pods here, this one's not going to pop because it's not ripe enough. They are, you can see, they're edible. They taste nice, like peas in a pod, basically. So, yeah, there is that. Also, I didn't flip my screen up, and ooh, ghost hole. So I don't know if this shot's composed correctly, but I look at the camera lens, and I don't need to keep flipping the screen out, which sometimes annoys me. But focusing on this, possibly, could be. So it's going to be interesting to see how the pain points of using my phone are overcome with the camera, but then there are new pain points with the camera. And is the image quality out of this thing, which is beautiful, and is nowhere near optimized yet, because I can't even record in full thing with this thing because it just doesn't work. Well, the camera works, but my laptop and my phone just can't edit the videos. So it's going to get even better, basically. Right, so off the bat, that is sounding pretty good. Now, what I've done is I've kept the camera volume, internal audio on 1, but I've actually increased the Rode Wireless Go 2 audio by another decibel or so. So the Rode Wireless 2 is on -3 decibels, and we are looking at more pink Himalayan balsam. Now, when I say this thing is invasive, or why it's not good for the environment, is because it does this, right? Them seed dispersal mechanism is obviously extremely efficient and does bits. It does absolute bits. Because this entire field is filled with pink Himalayan balsam. And then them 2 last clips basically were nearly perfect. So I've actually gone down to 0 decibels now. So this is set at 0 with the camera set at 1. And basically, yeah, I'm just doing this test now just to see if it gets any better. Obviously, if I'm doing some kind of like soundy kind of stuff, I might have to adjust the volume from there. But for all my talking head videos and all of my basically nature, outdoor foraging, bushcrafty kind of stuff, it's looking like a 1, and between 6, -6 and something else is going to be ideal. So they're the ranges that I'm looking at. Another thing that you have to know about when you're messing about, especially with a Rode Wireless Go 2, is you have to basically put the channel setting on merged, or else you only get sound coming out of one ear, which is not ideal. I filmed a full video, and yeah, it basically did me in. So basically on the top there's 2 bars. If there's 2 bars, it means that you're recording in, is it stereo or something like that? But you want it in merged, so there only wants to be 1 bar going up and down. I'll put a clip on. I have got a clip that I filmed in my other long ass video over this, showing you basically what to do. But and that video was just a little bit too peaky, so basically I've come back down to actually -9. I skipped -9 last time because I jumped 2 just to see what the difference was. But -9 is looking like it's in the middle of the 12 and 6, so we shall see what this one is. Let's have a look at some trees or something like that, shall we? And then that one seemed just a smidge too quiet, so I am back at -6 with 1 on the camera. And what you're looking at here is actually some hazel. Now, This is a very unusual tree, and this tree has got a long history with human beings, because what we used to basically do is get the hazel tree and cut it down when it was relatively young, and then it would shoot all of these shoots up here which grow relatively very long and straight. But the leaf on hazel is, well, hazel's quite easy to identify because the leaves are nice and round and circular like this with a little tip on the end, and then they have got this nice serrated edge. Come on camera, you're supposed to do bits here. Product showcase mode, what? Anyway, but yeah, and basically the bark on older ones is relatively mundane, grey, slightly fissured, but on the younger ones it's all nice and smooth, and it's got these little tiny stripes on them. But yeah, we used to basically coppice these trees down because the branches grow so nice and straight and they're very strong, and use them for tools, fences, baskets, but especially arrows. So we used to love hazel for arrows because there's very little work that you've got to do to hazel to basically straighten it enough to be an arrow. And in case you're wondering how you straighten a piece of wood back in the day, they used to use fire basically. You heat up the area that you want to straighten, you bend it whilst it's hot, and then you let it cool down, and basically it'll set its shape. And they used to work down the arrow and effectively straighten it from there. Stick a tip on the end, put some fletchings on, and you've got yourself a nice hazel arrow. Well, I feel like I've got it dialed in for now, but this here, what you're looking at, is an elder tree. What makes this tree so special is in the flowers and the berries. Now the good thing about these berries are they are very useful. They can be cooked and used to make juices and jams, chutneys and pies, and even something called elderberry wine. But you have to cook the berries before they are consumed. And in folklore, elderberries were used to treat influenza, infections, sciatica, headaches, dental pain, heart pain, and even nerve pain, as well as a laxative and a diuretic. And you basically can identify elder by its leaf structure. It's basically got one stem with between 5 to 7 leaves. This leaf structure is called a pinnate leaf structure. The leaves are also kind of an oval shape with tiny serrations on the end, and they absolutely stink when you smell them. For these berries, it has got a beautiful white flower that you also can make cordial and has got other medicinal benefits. But the easiest way for me to identify elder is in the bark. Now the bark is kind of cork-like and basically has something called a woody pith. A woody pith just basically means that in the center it's all sponge-like. Now this also is very good for making floats for fishing. The bark on elder trees is very distinctive. It basically is all like wrinkled and fucked. It also can look like this because this is also elder. But elder is a very good tree to know because it's got a whole host of medicinal benefits. It's got some nice berries on it. You also can make things like hand drills. I once went on a bushcraft course and the guy made a hand drill out of a spindle, basically a hazel spindle, sorry, with an elder tip because it breaks down a little bit easier to get the magic dust to bust into an ember, or to bust into an ember to basically turn into an ember, but you get what I mean. And yeah, and there's also a very nice mushroom that grows almost exclusively on elder, which is the jellies. So yeah, I think that concludes it for this video. I'm happy with the audio. I won't know 100% till I get back into the editing room, but effectively the audio is definitely good enough and I'll dial it in from here. But if you like this kind of content, guys, and you like bushcraft, foraging, outdoor survival, then definitely subscribe to my channel. But if you're only here for me playing about with the ZV-E10, next I'm going to be messing about with all of the image quality settings and getting into like aperture priority, shutter priority, manual mode and stuff like that, then yeah, don't subscribe, I suppose, because you're not going to like the rest of the stuff that I'm kicking out for the rest of the year, because mushroom season's coming, and when mushroom season's coming, oh, it's going to be lit. Also, I'm not going to lie, if you are into foraging and mushrooms, especially a certain kind of mushrooms, then you probably should subscribe because, you know what I mean.